Have you ever wondered what would happen if humans finally dropped the polite act and let the galaxy see just how wild we really are? Buckle up, because this story is exactly what you need today. Ambassador Trizix glided into the Galactic Council's main hall, his crystal-like armor glinting under the ceiling lights. He was shaking with what he insisted was righteous anger, and definitely not fear. He had come to address a problem that had taken over his every waking moment: humans. He cleared his throat, or whatever served as his throat, and spoke into the translator. Esteemed members of the council, I must once again raise my concerns about the unsettling behavior of these humans. I believe you all received my formal complaint last week. Yes? The one about them opening sealed packages with their teeth. His voice rose as it echoed across the giant, circular hall. Some delegates stood on floating platforms, while others perched on scaffolding or sat in environmental chambers tailored for their species. Commander Elena Doom Rodriguez, the head of Earth's small military team here, sipped her coffee as she leaned back in her seat. She made direct eye contact with Trizix, taking a deliberately slow drink. Several gas-based species in the rows behind her shifted their pods away nervously, since they considered coffee to be a high-grade industrial solvent. Trizix's voice sharpened. Yesterday, I witnessed no fewer than 15 humans performing morning calisthenics in a shared recreation area. They were sweating, visibly. Can you imagine the filth? And the smell? Rodriguez rolled her eyes. We can't control normal body functions, Ambassador. Would you rather we pass out from lack of exercise? Our species thrives on movement. A group of photosynthians in the next row curled their leaves in distaste. One leaned to a friend and whispered, "They exude water and salt from their pores. It's monstrous." Another murmured back, "They claim it's healthy. Who sweats on purpose?" Trizix rattled again. And the ghost peppers. Let's not forget the ghost peppers. These so-called vegetables register as mild chemical weapons on most scanners. Yet humans keep shipping them in crates labeled agricultural goods. In the gallery, Lieutenant James Reaper Ollie hit a small protein bar laced with ghost pepper essence and took a stealthy bite. The gaseous intelligence floating beside him flickered in alarm, nearly losing molecular cohesion from shock. Trizix's voice rose further. And if that's not enough, they recently attempted to introduce a new game at an interspecies cultural gathering, something called Twister. This horrifying pastime involves physically interlocking limbs with other players. The suggestion alone caused 3 delegates to lock themselves in isolation chambers for days. Rodriguez tapped a note on her datapad. She wrote, "Twister night still on for Thursday." Then, with a placid smile, she said, "With all due respect, Ambassador, it's in the cultural expression clause that we have the right to share recreational activities. You did help write those rules, correct?" "Those rules," Trizix sputtered, "were intended for mild forms of art or quiet dance recitals. Not this." Council Chair Nuroth, a shifting mass of plasma in a containment field, pulsed a gentle alarm tone. "Ambassador Trizix, your objections are on record. However, the humans have stayed within the official guidelines. Their exercise routines, their exotic peppers, and even their social games remain within their rights, disturbing as they might appear." Trizix clacked his mandibles in frustration. "But they're so physical, and they follow every tiny rule as if they're planning something. No one is that thorough unless they're hiding a dark plot." Rodriguez shrugged and tossed back the last of her coffee. "We respect the law, Ambassador. If you prefer we skip the legal route, we can always demonstrate what it looks like when we're not being considerate." She stood, patting her uniform pockets. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a high-intensity workout scheduled. Don't want to be late." She strode out, and the hush in the chamber felt heavier as her footsteps vanished. Trizix's crystals literally cracked a bit from stress, as though he'd just realized how small the difference was between civil humans and whatever lay beneath that surface point. 4 hours later, a shrill alert flashed in the council halls. A civilian transport ship, the Stellar Horizon, had been hijacked by pirates from the Crimson Talon Syndicate. They were demanding a direct negotiation with the council, threatening everyone on board if they didn't get what they wanted. The delegates swarmed the hall, frantic. Trizix, still rattled from earlier, shouted, "We must form a special committee to discuss protocol for establishing a negotiation team." He stretched his appendages in a show of seriousness. I recommend we commission 5 subcommittees to handle the details. Rodriguez, returning from her workout and still sweating, checked her datapad. A faint grin tugged at her mouth. The passenger list included 15 humans traveling back from a so-called team-building retreat, which was really a fancy name for advanced special ops training. She said in a calm voice, "We could just handle it." "Handle?" Trizix repeated, exoskeleton humming with confusion. "You propose direct action? That's far too dangerous. These are pirates with guns and demands." Rodriguez shrugged. "Sure, but they also hijacked a ship that's got 15 of my colleagues on board. I think they'll regret it." She tapped her comm. "Lieutenant Ollie, patch me through to the Stellar Horizon's main console." The council's main view screen flickered to show a scarred reptilian pirate, eyes blazing with triumph. "Finally," he snarled. "We want immediate talk." Rodriguez cut him off. Yes, standard courtesy. I'm required to offer you a chance to surrender. Regulation 394, C, subsection Delta. How about it?" The pirate captain snorted. "Surrender? We have hostages and lethal weapons. We hold the advantage." Rodriguez turned to the council. "You heard him. He's not interested in a calm discussion. That means the people on that ship are free to do things their own way." A muffled cheer went up from the hostages, who were all humans. They were visible in the background, seated cross-legged on the floor, looking bored. One was stretching, another quietly humming. The captain looked over his shoulder. "What's best behavior protocol?" One of them mentioned that phrase. Rodriguez's smile was all teeth. "Oh, that's just a requirement that we humans act, civilized. We keep everything toned down so nobody gets too rattled. We've been following it for the sake of our membership in this council. But if you're refusing negotiations, well, the gloves come off." In the feed, one hostage started cracking his knuckles. Another grinned and said, "Commander, for the record, we had a lot of coffee a few hours ago. The strong stuff." Rodriguez nodded. "Yes, I bet you did. Perfect timing. You must have plenty of energy to burn. Now, pirate captain, you have exactly 10 seconds to choose. Surrender or face 15 extremely caffeinated humans who don't have to hold back." The pirate hesitated, scanning the row of calm, smiling people behind him. "You're bluffing. No species is that fearless. You'd be surprised." Rodriguez shrugged. 3, 2, 1, we're done. Enjoy your decision." She cut the feed. Council members stared in horror. "What have you done?" Trizix gasped. "They'll kill the hostages. Or the hostages might handle it themselves," Rodriguez said calmly. "Let's watch. They are, after all, experts at following regulations about self-defense." Almost immediately, a new feed came through, courtesy of Lieutenant Chun on board the Stellar Horizon. He'd fiddled with the ship's cameras so everyone on the council could see. The vantage revealed a corridor where 15 humans suddenly stood up in unison. The pirates drew their weapons, but the humans just smiled. One of them muttered, "Man, my CrossFit workout got interrupted. Let's call this Plan B." A tall human with a crew cut performed a swift parkour run, literally bouncing off a wall before drop-kicking a pirate. Another grabbed a small metal tray from the floor, flipping it at a second pirate's head while explaining, "Proper form is important to avoid strain injuries." In a council chamber, someone murmured, "They move like predators." Another delegate said, "They're not even stressed. They're enjoying it." Commander Rodriguez folded her arms, her expression neutral, but the corners of her mouth twitched upward. "I did mention Earth is a death world. Survival is in our DNA." The feed switched to the ship's cafeteria, where Dr. Nguyen, a botanist, had turned leftover ghost pepper sauce into a small aerosol spray. Caution. She warned a group of pirates who stumbled into the area. This might sting. She gave a quick squeeze of the nozzle, and the pirates doubled over, eyes watering, tongues lolling. Some delegate in the council shouted, "That's a chemical weapon." Another said, "They're just using condiments. They said so earlier." Back on the screen, a different camera showed a broad-shouldered soldier, probably the physical trainer, instructing a group of pirates on how to do burpees. "Small, guys, you want to be tough. Let's see your form." When one pirate lunged at him, the soldier easily flipped the attacker onto the ground and pinned him with a single knee, adjusting the pirate's posture as if teaching a yoga class. That's horrifying," squeaked a delegate with a giant crustacean shell. "They're fighting and giving fitness lessons at the same time." Another camera angle revealed Lieutenant Chun vaulting over crates, calmly explaining parkour fundamentals to a terrified pirate. And if you look at the environment as your playground, you can jump here, then there, and he hopped off a wall, flipping behind the pirate to disarm him in a single motion. Boom, done. The translator for Trizex glitched briefly, spitting out nonsense. Then the ambassador found his voice. They're unstoppable. They're not even using lethal weapons, but the pirates are falling like children. This is monstrous. Rodriguez smirked. Would you prefer they use lethal force? They can, you know. They're holding back to avoid too much damage to the ship. The paperwork for destroying structural walls is a nightmare. Some delegates actually groaned at the mention of more forms, but Rodriguez only shrugged. We humans do love our documentation. It's how we know we're following your rules. Technically, subduing pirates with ghost peppers and gymnastics is all within the guidelines, as the pirates attacked first. Let me just highlight the relevant clause for you. She tapped her datapad. Point one of the cameras cut back to Dr. Nguyen, who is now stirring a mixture in a pot while cheerfully telling a collapsed pirate, "We discovered these peppers by accident, really, but I can show you how to neutralize the chemical if you'd like to stop screaming." The pirate just whimpered. Meanwhile, the second human was calmly tying up the rest with zip ties and humming an old Earth tune about letting bodies hit the floor. "Is that some war anthem?" gasped a spiky-haired delegate, seeing the closed captions. "They're singing mid-combat. That's savage." On screen, a pirate captain, the same who had bragged earlier, peeked around a corner only to see the chaos in every corridor. Pirates pinned, weaponless, or sobbing. The humans advanced in synchronized steps, as though this were a well-practiced dance routine. The captain's antennae drooped. Who are you people?" A human tossed him a spare set of binders. "We're the nice ones who, up to now, tried not to scare the entire galaxy. But you forced our hand. So, yeah. Either surrender or let us practice more parkour. Your call." He dropped the binders in panic and tried to scramble away, only to slip on leftover pepper sauce and slam into the floor. Another human calmly collected him by the collar, nodding politely, "No sudden moves, buddy, or I'll have to demonstrate advanced grappling. Believe me, that's even less fun for you." Back in the council chamber, a hush fell as the screen went dark. Lieutenant Chin's voice, pleasant and faintly smug, came through the audio feed. "Situation contained, Commander. All pirates subdued. No serious injuries. We'll tidy up before we head home." Trizex's crystals were fracturing audibly. They overpowered a trained pirate group with gym routines and condiments. Commander Rodriguez, arms folded, just said, "Well, that's the short version. So, do we have any motions from the council? If not, I have forms to file." The entire hall erupted in confusion. Delegates shouted for new rules limiting humans' uncivilized behaviors. Some demanded a ban on ghost peppers. Others insisted on banning Earth's so-called parkour or CrossFit. But one by one, they realized that everything the humans had done was within existing regulations. Regulations the rest of the council had set up to encourage cultural exchange and self-defense rights. To be why the time order was restored, everyone was exhausted. Council Chair Narath gently pulsed a summons for quiet. "We propose new restrictions. No random gravity stunts, no combat use of spicy foods, no weaponized exercise. Let's formalize these, shall we?" Rodriguez nodded cheerfully. "Sure, fill out all the forms you want. We'll comply. We love rules." That, more than anything, seemed to scare the council members. Because if humans had done all this while following the letter of the law, how much more could they do if they truly let loose? The next day, an official hearing was held about the Stellar Horizon incident. The humans arrived, tidy and well-rested. Commander Rodriguez carried a stack of color-coded paperwork so massive it needed a dolly. She calmly set on a table. "I have documentation for every single action. Property damage forms, non-lethal takedown logs, cultural exchange disclaimers, and disclaimers about disclaimers." One insectoid delegate stammered. You completed all these forms after that intense combat?" Rodriguez shrugged. "We multitask. We literally have a coffee break while we type. This is child's play." Now, about the pirates. They're in custody, no injuries beyond bruises, a few spicy tongues. The hostages, My fellow humans suffered zero harm. Any questions? Ambassador Trizix could only glare helplessly. You realize you've shaken the galaxy's faith in your species. Everyone now sees that humans are unstoppable if they stop holding back. Rodriguez laughed softly. Not unstoppable. We just have a lot of creativity and a high tolerance for physical exertion. Don't blame us for using what nature gave us. She patted the monstrous tower of paperwork. But we do it by the book, as you demanded. New council edicts were proposed. Stricter limitations on how humans can move, how much spice they can import, how often they can do morning calisthenics. Some delegates talked about banning caffeine for humans in official facilities. Others wanted to create entire areas where humans had to remain behind protective glass. But it all ended up in debate, because ironically, the council's own charter about respecting cultural practices gave humans plenty of room to play. Rodriguez soon left the hearing, accompanied by Lieutenant Shun and Dr. Nguyen. Shin commented with a grin, "It's a good thing they never saw the advanced hand-to-hand classes. This was just casual." Dr. Nguyen snorted. "I still have some pepper extracts left. We should probably let them know we're not even at full Scoville levels." As they walked away, you could hear the ambassadors behind them in heated arguments about how exactly to contain these scarily polite Deathworlders. Because the simple truth was, humans had proven they'd been holding back the entire time, playing nice to keep the galaxy comfortable. Now the galaxy realized what would happen if humans decided to stop holding back. Around the corner, Commander Rodriguez whispered to her colleagues, "Game night is still on for tomorrow. Twister, plus maybe that new variation with zero gravity. Let's see how many rules we can follow while they all lose their minds." Shun gave a casual salute. "Yes, ma'am. I'll do parkour across the lounge ceiling, if that helps raise eyebrows." Dr. Nguyen just smiled and patted her bag of ghost pepper sauce. "And if the snack table is bland, I know how to spice it up." They headed off, discussing forms and disclaimers. The council never did see them break out the truly scary stuff. But maybe one day they would if some other misguided soul tried to push humans too far. After all, Earth wasn't known as a death world for nothing that, in the end, the council decided it was safer to keep humans as allies rather than scold them for every quirky behavior. Word spread throughout the galaxy. Yes, humans have bizarre games, exercise routines, unholy peppers, and 1,000 ways to turn everyday objects into weapons. But they do it all with a thoroughness that's both impressive and terrifying. And for the most part, they keep their own power in check. A few rebellious species, overhearing these stories, realized it might be wise to steer clear of Earth's people. But not everyone would take that advice. Some pirates or warlords might test them again, only to discover that humans have more than pepper spray and parkour up their sleeves. For now, though, the galaxy turned another page, thinking they could rest easy. Meanwhile, the humans compiled more data, wrote more official guidelines, and quietly, politely told the galaxy, "If you force our hand, we'll follow your rules to the letter and still show you why you never mess with people from a planet that tries to kill them daily." One can only imagine what might happen if those unstoppable Deathworlders ever truly decided to drop every pretense of civility. But that's a story for another day. For now, they remain polite. Just don't push your luck. They have the forms ready to prove that when the time comes, they can handle any threat and still file every piece of paperwork in perfect alphabetical order. Coffee mug in one hand, unstoppable determination in the other.